Okay. I'm going to hide this thing because it's kind of annoying. And it's not needed right now. Yeah, just this. I'm just going to turn that off for now because it's kind of distracting. And yeah, I would probably hide the canvas too because it kind of makes selecting things through it really annoying because you got to click a couple times because there's actually an invisible thing here, and anything behind this line is, so I can click once there, and then when I click like 3 times I can get that one. Okay, so that means I'm just gonna grab the canvas. Debug UI is probably what I want to hide. There we go. I thought I'd use that as a UI element that I could put stuff on to show me text based off of what I want to see when the game is running. Make it a little easier than having to go and find it, and sometimes I just put it there. Okay, so this is what we just created. Very cool. Now I want to try and see now, because when I hit play, it automatically generates a flat world, right? But I also have the ability to create a world in the editor here using the board creator here, right? Which is what I just got working here. So what I want to do is each one of these has a point. This one here is 1, 0, and it has a height of 1. Coordinates is 0, 0, 0. Okay, so the coordinate 0, 0, 0 is not being updated right now. That's probably something I'm going to want to change because I don't update the coordinates. But the coordinates is the hex coordinates, and there's some math involved. But I realized after playing with hexes for a while that I can get away with just having 2, and from those 2 I could derive a third one to have the hex coordinates. Anyways, not super important right now, but they're not being updated. I've been starting to use just the 2 mostly anyway, and the height. So what I could do is I could use a vector 3. So it could be X, Y, and Z would be the height. So this height is 1, this one here height is 4. So I could pass the vector 3. So that's already set up for vector 3. So if I go into tile view, I'll show you what I mean. So load takes the point and it takes the height. It takes the point and the height, it places that as this tile's values, and then it does a match when I load it, which is just putting it in the right world space position. But I was also an overload here with a vector 3. So vector 3 is basically vector X, vector Z, and vector Y, and it passes that into load as the first 2 being a point, theoretically. We'll see if it works. This might be wrong, but it should work. Very simple fix if not. So let's go ahead and do that. What I want to do is with vector 3, I want to have a list of every single one of these. And that already exists. And in the board creator here, I have a save button. So the save button, what it does, create save directory, save. It takes everything and saves it out into the lists as a scriptable object, which is just an object like a physical file that contains it. So if I hit save, right, and I go to, now where did it save it? I don't even know. I'll have to go see. It'll be in resources, level. I just do a search for level. Board creator. This should be it. So this is the each one of these is a vector 3 of each one of these tiles. Now what I want to do is I want to take this, which contains all of this, and when I hit play, I want it to load this. Now if I hit play now, they're going to overlap each other, right? So if I do this and I hit play, I have a flat generated one that I just did, and these little ones are popping up through. That's from these higher ones here. So they're kind of overlapping each other. But what I want to do is I want to be able to, instead of creating a flat one, I want to create the one that I made in the editor, the one that we see here. So how the hell do I do that? Well, what we're doing here is it's going to be in the board view. And when I hit play, I generate a hex map view. And that gets done here in the board view at the start. So when I hit play, you know, it does a couple little things and then it generates. And then when it generates, it goes through this. Now, what I want to do is I could do one or the other. I could generate my own like I've always been doing, or I could check if I put the scriptable object in this, and if it does exist, generate it from that and don't do the flat one. So what I'll do is I'll come up here, and what we'll do is we'll create level. Is it level? Level data? It's called a level data. It's a list of vector3 called tiles. So what I'll do is I'll just do level data in the board view. And we'll make that public so I could just drag and drop it. And it's called level data. And what we'll do is we'll just call it level data. Right? And with level data, hex tile views equals new game hex tile. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to keep this there or I'm just checking my stuff. But what I could do is I could just do. So if there's anything in level data, you know, here it'll be create from level data, right? If level data is available, right? Otherwise, build a flat world. There we go. Okay, which is what's down here. So what we'll do, and what we'll do is with this other stuff is we'll just do else. And all of this will go into, we can keep generated equals true. All this will go into, whoops, shit, into the else. And this C here, ooh, I don't know if that's important. Am I missing a C somewhere? I probably shouldn't have done that. I don't know what C was. Tiles, I'll just redo that. All of this here. There we go. I'll keep it generated true because, you know, once the map is generated, this thing will set it to true. So what did I just do? Yes, else is here. Okay, good. So if there's level data. Now, if there's level data, what we need to do is we need to create it. And the way that we do that is, let's go ahead and take a look at tile view. Load, right? There's a load button here. I should actually try this and see if this works for in the editor. So instead of doing it on play, if I clear this and I bring up level data right here, this is in the board, this is board view. If I go into the board creator, if I find it, under here, and I put level data here, and I do load, it should load this up. So I'm going to clear this, right, and I'm going to grab the level data right here, and I'm going to hit load. Oh, it doesn't work. And this board creator data, it's got all this. So it's definitely not just this one, and it only made one. So there's a problem here. If I do clear, so there's a problem. So before I create it on, before I create it in the actual start, let's get this one working. On load, when I hit that button, it clears it automatically. So if there was already something there, it'll clear it out and replace it with whatever I'm trying to load. If level data equals null, then it returns. So if there's nothing there, it won't load anything. It will clear it, however. For each vector3 in level data.tiles, yeah, tile view t create. Okay. T.load tiles.add t. Okay. So it creates it. So it's going to go through each one of those and it's going to create it. So let's go see what happens in the create function. It's going to instantiate my object, which it did. That's fine. And it returns a tile view of that object, right? That's fine. Now, let's go see what else it does after that. It returns a tile view, and it sets it to T. So the tile view, what we do with the tile view is we do a load on the tile. So that gets created and it gets put into the center of the world, or wherever. Now, it creates a tile with V, load V, vector 3. It puts in the vector 3. That is in the level data. Let's see what it's doing here. It's putting this in, and I'm going to here. I betcha. It could be this. We might create a new level without a bunch of stuff, just a couple to test to really validate the data that it's saving. But we know this works. Oh, maybe not. A normal create a normal grow grows a single position. And if I'm growing a single position, we know this works. Oh, too high. Grow a single position. It'll do one of these with a point. And if get or create. Okay, so here what it's doing is it's checking. If it's already been created, it returns the thing that it created. If it doesn't exist, it'll create it. And when you create it, you load it. So we know that load works. But load in this instance is taking in a point and a height. Here I have it hard-coded to 0. This is the first step. I wonder if it should be at 1. But this is the first step of when you're creating tiles, and then it adds it to the list. The dictionary. Dictionary's index is here, and then its value is the actual tile. And then it returns the tile. So So we know load works, this whole thing. No, not that one. Tile load or whatever it is. We know that loading a tile works. We know that creating a tile works. And adding. So the difference that I'm seeing here is that in this case here, we're loading a vector. Now I could split this vector into how it's been split up here and actually like have the point and the height here. You see, you have the point, which is two values, the first two values of vector 3, and the height being the third value, and split it up so I'm not using the overload method of just using a vector. But here, so you set it so it goes to this, but here when I send in a vector 3, it should just call this and split it here. So the split here is something that's going on. So when I do a load vector 3, what I need to do is I need to do a new point like this. And then this third point is an int of height. I think that's all I needed to do. Let's try it. So if I go to board view again, board creator, I still have this, which has all of these values. All of these are at 0. Why are all these at 0? That's not right. And all of these are at 0. I'm not writing it right. I have 3, 5 in the y. And I think the y here is the height. I don't even know. This is not writing right. Looking closer at the data, these numbers should all have things in them. And right now I only have values in the y. So even if I do board creator load right now, it didn't work, you see? Did I get an error in any way? Let's clear it out. Let's clear it. Let's load it. Yeah, I'm not even getting an error. What is the bit? Key value pairs. It's not finding the value pairs. Oh, it already been added, 0, 0. Yeah, so what's happening is I'm adding this because the values aren't right. So my problem is in the save, actually, in here. Okay. I've been refactoring this a lot, which is why I'm running into all these weird errors, because all this stuff used to work. So you got to kind of work your way backwards, fix this stuff. So let's save it right. So if we're going to save it right, I'll do a clear, and I'm going to give it some data to work with. So I'm going to grow some areas. So here's a bunch of stuff to save. Wait, clear, clear. Just want to make sure I'm not getting errors there. Grow area. No, I'm not getting errors. Okay, so a bunch of stuff. All right, cool. And each one of these has unique values and unique heights. So that's why each one of those vector 3s need to have unique values and unique heights. Right? So let's go back to the load, or the save, sorry. We want to make sure we save that correctly. So string file path. So this is where we're saving the actual scriptable object. The scriptable object is called level data. If the dictionary exists, if the dictionary doesn't exist in the file path, it'll just, you know, it just creates the directory on your hard drive, in your project folder if you don't have it. Level data board. Okay, so level data is called the board. The scriptable object, I create an instance of level data. So here what we do is we create a new scriptable object called board, right? And then the board.tiles, which is the list, what we do is we create a new list called vector3 tiles.count, the length of tiles. So tiles in this case here at the very top theoretically, here we go. This is it here. It's a points, which is the unique key, and the tile view, which is interesting. Can I have tile view? It's the length of that. So it's not going to be tile view. It's just going to be a vector 3, but it uses that because that's where all the tiles are located in that dictionary. And we make a list of vector 3s of the length of how many tiles we're going to put into it. Now for each tile view in the values of that dictionary, what we do is we add a new vector 3, and see, I'm doing coordinates. And remember I was showing earlier that my coordinates are all at 0 because I'm not using it. I'm using point now, which is just these two. So that's why. So if I go back here and I change tile point and tile point. Kind of weird because I thought XY point doesn't have Z, it should be Y. See, that's what's weird to me because I think these should be inversed, right? X, Y, and then Z will be the height. I think that'll work better, hopefully. We'll take a look, and then that'll save it. So that's being saved, and then whatever it calls it, something, the file path, and the name. Right, the name is what? Where's the name at? Where's it getting the name from? I don't know where it's getting the name from. Object.name. Oh, whatever. I could change that in later if I want to. Database create asset, so it creates the board and the file name. Okay, that'll work better. And let's go ahead and give that a try. So we got all of these things. So if I go back to board creator and I do, we don't need to, I don't know what the hell. Yeah, just save it. Boop. Now, if I go to board creator here, the list is empty. A second. I'm just going to clear this. And we're going to grow a couple. Right, and we got values and heights, which is great. Board creator. I want to delete this one. There's nothing in here, which is strange. And then if I save that, it should theoretically have stuff in here, but it's at nothing. Okay. Maybe it's because it already existed if I delete it. Why can't I delete it? Is it writing? Oh, it takes a while to write, I guess, or I had to leave the directory. Okay, so it has data now. And you can see data is everywhere. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put that in board creator. And I'm going to clear, and now I'm going to load it. And it didn't do it right. Okay, well, what's the data on this? Yeah, the data seems all right. Kinda. I mean, where in relation it is in the world, the numbers here seem okay, and this 9. So there's just a cross in them. Something's going on with how the data is being loaded with the values. So we have to test to make sure the values are saving correctly the way we want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to board creator and I'm going to clear it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is back in the board creator, I'm going to go to 0, 0, and I'm going to grow 1 there. And then I'm going to grow 1 here. Oops. No, I don't. I'm going to clear it again. I'm going to clear it. I want it to go in the X direction. So we're going to grow 1 here. We're going to grow 1 here. We're going to grow 1 here. And we're going to grow 1 here. Right? And then for fun, go ahead and grow 1 here. And we're going to keep going a little bit in this direction. Because what I want to do is I want to have a repeatable pattern that I could see what's going on. So I'm basically going in X. And I think what I'll do is I'll just add 1 more. Just to help me figure it out. And then we'll add 1 more in this direction, like this. So we have 4 here, and then 1 change, and then 4 here. And the increments are going to be mostly on X and Y. And Y is going to have a change once from 0, 0, 0, and then 1, 1, 1. And then the height will always be the same at 1. Because I never variate the height. So now with that, what I'll do is I'll go into the board creator and I'm going to do a save. Exception. I don't know if that was because of my save. Could be, I don't know. Let's try it again. Save. Okay, no. Okay, so that's that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the board creator. There we go. I do have to exit and come back into the directory to see the update. So here we can see that on the X, it increases all the time, except for 3, because these two are both at 3X. And then Y changes once, which is fine. And then height is always the same. Great. Now, I like this as a nice test, and this is what it should look like. So what I could do, well, I'll remember that. Okay, now, what I could do is we'll go to board creator, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a clear. And then we're going to grab board creator as the data, and we're going to load. Boom. Now, what is going on here? Right? We know that X is supposed to be going in this direction. Y is going up in 1, and then it's always going to be 1. So we could see that the heights are not the same. It almost looks like the first 3 heights, these ones here, it looks like Y is being used for height, and it looks like, I don't know, something's going on. So let's go ahead and take a look. If I click on this and I look at the coordinates, this should be at 0, 0. It's at 0, 1. This is at 1, 1. This is at 2, 1. Something is weird, right? I'm missing these ones here, and this is not, okay. Once we get the board creator working well, we could do it in the auto loading. So I'll do a clear. But we know that this data is working well. So X, Y, and Z. I don't know what this is. Huh. Okay. All right. So we're doing a load with the vectors. And we're saving X, Y, height. That's fine, that's good. Now let's go take a look at what it's trying to do with X and Y in the points when we load a tile itself. Let's take a look here. When we load a tile, oh, here. Right, what we do, see, this is where it should put the coordinates in. I'm not doing that right now. You know, it could be in this weird ass frickin' thing that we built that I thought I fixed earlier, but that I didn't. It could be this. It could be that, but it could be that. Let's see what this is going on here. So X, oh, you see here I got a mixed Y, Z. That might be all it is. That might be all it is. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look again. So I got this. We're going to go to board creator. We're going to load it. There we go. They were just mixed. Test works. Now let's try a more complicated test. We're going to grow some area stuff. That's cool. I seem to have a limit. Oh no. It's cool. Okay, we're going to save that. Go to board creator. Now all that stuff is in there, right? Cool. I'm going to go ahead and clear that. We have the board creator and the level data. We're going to load it. It did not work. But when I click on it here, it is. So I probably just need to, it seems to hold on to the values that it had. So I'll just bring it back in and hit load. There we go. So that works now. Excellent. Fun, fun. Now, what would be fun is also, I would say, to make it automatically load. Because now when I hit play, it kind of loads my flat world, but I'd like for it to load, you know, these are my flat world ones. These guys too, I could hide them there. It's just more confusing, but instead of loading the flat world, just to load the level I want it to load with the data. So I'll take that off, close that. Let's go ahead and take a look at how I would do that. So if I go back to here, and there's these errors here. It's talking about a reference. This is in input controller. That's another completely on another subject. Let's clear that. Okay. So in the board generator, I created level data to load here, right? If I go into the here, what I would like for it to do is load this level data, right? Now, again, I'm in a situation where I have to duplicate the code, but I could put this all somewhere for both of those spots that need the level load data stuff in the same place, and they just both go to the same place. Because theoretically, all I would need to do is call the board creator, this bit here, and do that. But tiles.add tPoint.t, I wouldn't be putting it in tiles here. I would be putting it in tiles of the actual active board, which is board view here. So I'm sure this one has one. Yeah, it does. See, it's the same thing. It's point and tile view. So what I would do is on this load, create that's fine because it's even named the same, I think. Yeah, it is. but I might be building it a little different here. Tiles.add, tile view point, get tile view. Oh no, that's how I'm doing it. Why is create not working? Create does not exist in the current context. Oh, because I think my board creator has create in it. It does. So what I could do is just do this. Tile view. Board view. I could just put the function in it like this. See here what I'm doing is I'm not creating, I'm actually instantiating, but create ultimately instantiates them. Generate hex map view. I'll just put the create here. Tile view prefab is probably here, just tile prefab. It's just named differently in this one. Yeah, and you know, that should just work. Technically. Let's try it. Okay, clear that. Now, board creator, I'm not going to do anything with that. Board itself, I'm going to put the level data here. And because I have the level data, it should not do the flat world. And if I don't have level data, it should do the flat world. So now that I have level data and I hit play, it loaded the level data. Right? And if I took level data out and I hit play, flat world. Right. I like the level data one. Boop. Oh, it's making a lot of dudes. Why is it making so many dudes? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that works well. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Project, save this, save all this, save. Cool.